very late evening, fellow morons. How are we at this 10 o'clock at night starting time on a Tuesday?
All good.
I'm happy. I think that a lot of folk are tired, but
Tired now. Very tired.
Well, as you can see, it's nice and light and sunny where I am, isn't it, Burnsy?
Very sunny. I don't know where you are.
Well, guys, thank you very much for those that are listening to this episode. This is our 101 Movies special. So in true moron fashion, we try to manage it to get to 100 movies so that we could then do this as a special recap of all the films that we have reviewed over the last... I have no idea how long it's taken us. But we fucked it up, and it's 101. So it fits really well in with the moron aspect, which everyone's very happy in calling us, especially if you go by the Instagram comments that we'll touch on later, Sean.
There's far too many to go through, so I've taken a select few that are my favourites.
We've been inundated with folk calling us names.
It's actually, in all seriousness, it's went a bit ridiculous. Like the actual name calling and all that going on as well, which is a bit pathetic. People take it far too seriously.
Folk take this far too seriously, like Sean just said, man. Like, folk are going mad. Like, every single... So for people that are sort of listening or watching if you're not on Instagram, we put these up in 10 at a time, roughly, or 12 at a time, small batches. And folk went mental at every single one for some reason.
I noticed that when I was going through them today. Like, after each picture, because I kind of started from the bottom, like the bottom 101, and worked my way up, and each one, it seemed to be less and less arseholes and just kind of shite comments, but there was quite a lot. But to be fair, there was quite a few kind of sound people in there who were saying, like, everybody's got their own opinions and films and stuff like that, this is exactly what it is. If everybody liked the same thing, like, fucking everyone would be boring as fuck.
Yeah, well, even it just shows you how easily people are triggered. I mean, I don't even think these people that are coming on arguing with us or trying to argue with us in the comments even maybe care that much about the film. It's just a different opinion from theirs, and that's it. They're fucking triggered.
Aye, that's that. See, for me, right, and all it is, I'd say I get triggered easily the most, as you can look back in the text for the past hour. But to go to like the lengths of like calling people names and stuff like that, and like, fuck off. Like, just if you've got something to say, that's fine. You can disagree and you can have debates and all that, but calling like people, I think I've been told to fucking get in the sea, among other stuff. It's just like, calm down. It's not that big a deal.
For those of you that are following the Instagram account, interacting with us, please keep doing it as respectfully as possible. We do appreciate it, and it is good actually. I like having a bit of a back and forth with some of the followers, because some people have got some really good thoughts.
Put in whatever you want to put in, because it gives me comments.
Aye. Keep being disrespectful. There's only one person's ever topped the line, and I deleted his comments because he was just going on every single post and just like laying into folk. But apart from that, we can take it.
Well, let's trigger a lot more people by going through this list of 101 movies. You'll have to bear with us. This will be a bit of a speed round as we go through them, because I don't know about you guys, but I cannot remember 101 movies. But I think
I don't want to talk about every movie. See if we even go in the batches that we put them up to Instagram and which ones we remember that.
Right, well, what we'll do is, I think we should start off with talking a little bit about the very, very, very bottom one on the list, and then we'll take it in sections as we go. So starting off with an absolute 0 from everybody. One of the earliest movies that we watched in the movie chat. I actually believe it could have been second or third film that we watched.
I think it was, aye.
Zulu Dawn, guys, from a former moron who has made one appearance on us so far. Who remembers Zulu Dawn?
I remember it, and I just thought at that point that, like, I really had a bad feeling about still being part of the movie club at this stage. It's never going to be still going if I'm having to watch these horrendous, however long it was, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it was far too long. It could have been done in 10 minutes and it would have still been horrendous. But
I made it a gift and I still know when to go back and watch it.
It's actually had quite, considering it's the worst movie, I don't know if this was Davey's idea, that maybe if you put the worst movie that I've ever heard of on the list and it would still be talked about to this day, maybe that was his long-term thinking.
I can definitely say that I don't think that was Party's thinking. He genuinely loves this. I remember even back at school, I'm talking about like Zulu, not Zulu Dawn, but just Zulu. And he's tried to get me to watch Zulu before. And fucking what a regret of mine it was to watch Zulu Dawn, even if it was a part of this, it was absolutely stinking.
Yeah, I think it was a resounding 0, and we all had the same thoughts on this one, which was absolutely shite. But it's closely followed by a couple of absolute cracking movies. So, in at number 100 we have Dark Crimes, 99 Mega Shark vs Colossus, 98 The Last Airbender, and 97 Detective Pikachu. I will obviously hold my hand up. Two of those movies, the Mega Shark vs Colossus and The Last Airbender, was a part of the week that I was fed up watching all these really good movies and decided that we should watch some shitters. So when it came to my choice and I got to select, as previously we didn't let Instagram pick the movies, we picked them ourselves. So I openly picked two of the 4 worst movies that we have watched. The Last Airbender, though, has however been touted on our Instagram as something to watch in terms of TV series and cartoon. But the movie is up there as one of the worst I've ever seen. Mega Shark vs Colossus was alright. Come on, guys, you can't what you get. What we're going to get with that movie.
It's shite.
Sorry, I don't think it's better than what it was.
Just trying to expect shite doesn't mean like that's not what we're scoring it on, like expectation versus reality.
Aye, that's basically what I was going to say. Just because you expect it to be shite doesn't make it less shite. I would say that the only one we got any negative comment about for the ones you've mentioned so far was Detective Pikachu. A few folk like that.
Children.
Well, I'm a Pokemon fan, you see. Like, I'm into Pokemon. So it's not like it's because I don't like the subject matter. I think that was maybe the case for a lot of you guys. But I wanted that movie to be amazing. I really did. See the idea of like live action Pokemon kicking about should have been awesome, but I just...
Well, out of those... out of those 5 movies that we've mentioned so far, only one of them I went into with an expectation that this could actually be pretty decent, and it's Dark Crimes.
Yeah, so did I when I read that synopsis on Amazon. I thought, oh, this looks quite good, I'll chuck that into Movie Club, because that's when we did the seen versus unseen, so it was like, I'll chuck that in as the unseen one, and oh my god, I think that is up there in the biggest letdowns. Within out of the 101, that's going to be in the top probably 3 or 4 for I think the letdowns.
I'm chuckling because it's a 0.35, and you think, Jesus Christ, someone's actually given that a positive score. I don't know if I'm maybe one of them, but like giving it like a pity 0.25 or something like that.
I think I was the same.
Somebody must have given it at least a 0.5.
I think I gave it at least a 0.5, but that was based on how... I think that was after we'd obviously watched a few of the horrendous ones that I was like... I was rating it more higher than them because I was like, it's far better than some of the nonsense that we've watched.
But again, even then, is that though back in... Would they roll it in halves at that point, possibly? I can't remember. Would they change it to the increments at some point?
Aye, it was definitely just... It wasn't the same scoring system as what we've got now anyway. It was like, 0.5 or... 1.
I'm sure we all went back and re-scored Dark Crimes.
Oh, we did, you're right. Aye.
We did like a whistle stop tour, one stream of them, where we gave them again quite low scores. It was just such a weird film. Like it never made sense for the start.
See, of all these films that we've watched, out of all the 101, this is the one that if I was to talk to someone and say never watch this film, this would be the top one.
The one. Aye.
Well, if I was to pick a movie that I tell someone never ever to watch, it'd be number 96 on the list, which is Fear and Loathing.
I was just going to say that I would be stuck between that and Zulu Dawn.
That's another one of my top picks.
Don't watch.
Well, guys, I wanted to throw in here, so Hunter's getting away with this a little bit. So Dark Crimes and Fear and Loathing sitting down the bottom there. And this doesn't even include one of the movies that's not on our list that he made us watch, in Capone.
Oh, Capone. Yeah. Back and score that again. That would be bottom 5 as well.
Oh, definitely. Again, expectation versus reality. As I said, I think I said that when we talked about it just on the WhatsApp group at the time, there was a reason that part of Al Capone's life was never explored for cinematic purposes before, and it should have been left that way. The film was the big steaming pile of shite that fell out his arse in that bed.
See, to go to Fear and Loathing, right? Was that the first one we done on stream, or one of the first?
It was, yeah, that in room, yeah.
No,
So
good memory.
That way to start. Fucking hell.
Thank you to those that have stayed with us since then, because we've started off in a shitter.
Oh, aye, it was bad.
Walking in school cut.
Oh yeah, well,
I feel I said at the time that I'm sure I even had a Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas poster when I was a kid. And it's just one of those things that as a teenager it's supposed to be cool and it's shite. Just a shite film.
well, guys, we are something that we've not mentioned at the start of the stream is what we're going to do is a little bit of bonus content throughout this. Towards the end of the stream today, we're all going to have a little additional scoring that we're going to give to a certain movie. We're going to give a plus 0.5 to one movie and a minus 0.5 to one movie each. Is any of these movies yet going to tick the boxes for anyone?
If anything for downvotes.
Nah, I wouldn't touch any of these with my votes.
Take more off of Zulu Dawn, can't we?
Yeah, we're getting close to one that I considered using my plus 0.5 for.
Well, what I should do, we should reveal all that at the end. So stick with us till the end of this recording or stream, whatever you're watching, to find out what we are going to change and see what that does to the leaderboard. The next movies I've got, so number 95 in the list, scoring a 1.05 was National Treasure. 94 was Hereditary. Scoring a 1.35. 93 being the movie that got Hunter sleeping on the couch, which is Point Break at 1.35. Yeah. One of the most we'll put in inverted commas here, call it a movie, it's definitely not a movie. The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, absolutely pish, coming at number 92. Daniel, I think you should explain yourself a little bit on making us watch that monstrosity.
Can I just say before Daniel does, see, again, I didn't realise that was in the bottom right corner there. Is that the Ballad of Buster Scruggs, Fear and Loathing, and Zulu Dawn are three that, if when I think about like shite that we've watched, obviously, and this, they're the three that spring to mind, and I would never tell anybody to watch it either of them. They're my three. That's my personal bottom three out of all the ones we've watched. I think I'll probably find another one as we go through, but that was quite hard to sit through as well, I felt.
There's some stuff that I picked that I wouldn't stand by, but I don't know. I don't get why everyone hates this so much. It blows my mind because I spoke to other people about this, and I don't know. It's just like a nice, quirky little.
I mean, it's a 6 stories. I think I liked about 6 or 5. I remember I slightly more. I didn't like all of them, but the ones I enjoyed, I did enjoy. But it wasn't. Not all of it was for me.
I think I think we should never have watched it because it's not a movie. It's several short movies made into one. If we watch that, we should watch Hamilton.
Let's address this live, Kyle. Things evolve as you go. You don't stick in your ways, so I'm happy to take that on board going forward. There you go. There's something you could start doing.
Absolutely fucking not. I will stand by my moaning and I will always stick with it. Number. Burnsy, what was your thoughts on Ballad of Buster Scruggs being new to the movie scene?
Oh, I hated that as well. Like I could tell though when I'm going in to watch it, I just kind of knew it was something that I could kind of see Daniel loving because I'm sure it was his choice. But honestly, it was just boring. Like I know Hunter said he fell asleep watching what was that? Point Break.
Point Break got me kicked on the couch because I loved it. Remember, so I was kicked on.
Oh, was that what you watched?
And just put everybody else to sleep.
That was like it was a complete chore watching that, like vile. Because I knew that, and I think I knew as well that I was thinking like I must be missing something. I think Daniel was buzzing for us to watch it, and I just didn't see anything remotely interesting, positive about it whatsoever.
I can imagine after the aftermath of scoring this one, Daniel just sitting and thinking how disappointed he is in the rest of us, like proper judging us.
I get it. See, now that we've done it for a long time, I can tell in advance usually who's going to like what type of thing. Occasionally things surprise me, but normally in advance I can sort of tell who's going to like what.
Sean, has anybody had any comments from Instagram about any of these movies so far? Feel free to jump in at any point when you get that.
It's hard to actually. I know that I'll get better in time with this, is what I'll say, but I've not really noted down what the movies are about, and a lot of them, and the comments I've got, they're no specific about the movies because I like to keep it more light-hearted.
Cool.
I'm not getting any good comments, but I'll give these one the new. I'll just give them through the hour.
Okay.
Wait a minute till I bring them up.
Just while he finds somebody in there, I'll just round us up to number 90. Number 91 come in with Insidious at 1.50, and 90 and 89 were joint at 1.60, which was Face Off and 28 Days Later.
I actually do have one about the bottom films, Point Break. So we've got a guy called Vinyl Cinephile, which is a bit of a strange name to use, but he said, Point Break, you have scored a tragically low score, and I'm not overly impressed.
I think Hereditary and...
I'm not done yet, Craig. He goes on to say, I won't wish death or injury on you, but I do hope when you walk past doors you get your jeans or cuffs caught in the door handle. Now, I don't know about yous, but I don't wear cufflinks day to day. I've only ever wore cufflinks once, and that was at a wedding. It's certainly one of the more bizarre comments I think that I've seen on the Instagram.
So passive-aggressive.
Fair play to him for not wishing death or injury upon us. Just some ripped jeans or a ripped shirt. But that was one about Point Break from a friend.
I'm going to assume that's Laura's burner account.
It's got to be like...
That guy's actually followed us since like the very start. He actually is alright compared to a lot of them. But I quite like that one because it's funny. He's taken a lot of time to remind us that it's to die.
It's not like
I don't want you to die, but there's always a but. It's never just keep living and keep creating good content.
Fair play to him. But two movies that just slid in there as we're talking about them, Face Off and 28 Days Later, caused a lot of contention when it come to both watching them, because 28 Days Later and Face Off were both movies that pre-watching them again I would have said they were up there as absolutely classics. Like 28 Days Later is reviewed as a proper British classic, and it was shite.
I stand by those.
That was mega disappointing. It was shot on a potato. It was fucking atrocious.
That's better. I told somebody recently, I was talking about it, I was like, they filmed it on a Game Boy. So it must have been about the timeline.
Face Off being down there with that shouldn't be as low as that monstrosity of 28 Days Later, though. That's so far worse than what Face Off was. At least Face Off, you could kind of just take it as like a bit of a laugh, whereas that, I was just watching thinking, this is garbage.
So, I'd agree with that. Do you know, just looking at this list, I'm quite surprised at Insidious being that low. I think I was the one that scored at the highest out of all of us, but that one genuinely did scare the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really scary.
Hereditary gets us a lot of hate still. Like, the individual post that we put up with the scores for that one occasionally still gets like a comment here or there, or like it gets mentioned in other things, they scored that so low.
Do you know what it is? It's one of those movies that's like deemed as being like dead arty and all this kind of shit. So you get all the gimps that jump on that and they're like, oh, best thing ever, scary as fuck. It was ruined after about 20 minutes.
I do notice that not even just that, but we do have a few of what you'd maybe deem the arty type films that that's what one of the few things that we agree on as a collective is we're not fans of maybe the arty type of films, and it seems to be the people that do love them are fucking passionate about it and that sort of, and they will defend it to the fucking house, and they will not be told that it's just a big steaming pile of shite.
And what's interesting about all these movies when we review them, we do get the feedback on it, is obviously people, like we said earlier, get excited and passionate about a movie that they enjoy, but we are looking at it maybe a bit more objectively because we're trying to look at it as an overall picture rather than just that one individual there. But popping on to a few other movies here, so breaking into the top 80, we have 88 and 87 joint with 1.65 is The Five Bloods and Pet Sematary. Pet Sematary, I think, has been used as the Burnsy's focal point of being better than No Country for Old Men. That's been the measure for a long time.
That's very fair.
Do you know what? For me, I actually remember I quite enjoying Pet Sematary because I watched it. It was one of those ones where I was like wide awake at like 1 a.m. I was like, I'm going to put this on. Like, it's total pitch black, headphones on, like total blaring the sound, and shit myself at loads of like different points about it.
I think random as well, like with the cat involved and everything. It was just like so. It was bizarre as well, so it kind of kept you involved throughout it. I know that there's this kind of films like No Country for Old Men. I'm never gonna. You could have a masterpiece, and I would still think it was nonsense with that kind of film. Just my preference. And it's not something I can't even really try and appreciate it because it just doesn't do anything for me at all. Whereas obviously other films that you can appreciate as good even if you don't like it, whereas those kind just don't.
Well, see, on Pet Sematary, the reason that's probably the most disappointed I've been in any of the films we watched because I had just finished the book. Mind like 2 weeks before we watched it, and the book's fucking amazing, and it's such a letdown.
Well, speaking of movies that are letdowns, coming into number 86 on the list at a 1.70 is Shutter Island.
Aye, that's good. I personally, I think I scored that the lowest out of all of us. I hate that film.
No, I can't really think. I don't think I scored it that low compared to some of the other stuff that's around it.
It was me that blew it down. I definitely blew it down. I'm sure I gave that less than a 1. Like, I absolutely hate that film.
Even that, I mean, you're talking about about over 10 years since it came out, and it's definitely lost a lot in that length of time.
You couldn't sit and watch it over and over again, even if you did really, really like it. I think you would eventually grow and get sick of it. I think I'm on the fence for that one. I'm probably going to concentrate to look at my scores on it because I can't remember what I scored anything at all. But it's not great. I don't think it's the 86 the worst film that we've seen.
Yeah, I agree.
But
wait till we get above. See if there's anything above this that you think was worse.
Well, Shutter Island was tied at 1.70 along with Bridge of Spies, which
I can tell you straight away Bridge of Spies is better than Shutter Island. No, this was, I believe, the second film, because the first film we watched was Daniel's pick, which was
Birdman.
Yeah. I believe it was then me with Bridge of Spies, and this was the first overall negative review that we kind of gave it. I liked it. I don't think many other people did.
I remember us slagging off and slating Bridge of Spies, nothing awful. Like, we went in and then we watched Zulu on the following week and wanted to apologise to Sean.
Aye, and then that's what brought us to where we are now, really.
So if we'd watched them the other way about, I wonder if would Bridge of Spies scored higher than it did if we'd watched it with on then Bridge of Spies.
We'd have got a 5.
I know that it's a bit of a kind of stale and boring storyline. There isn't like a great deal of like action and stuff like that, but I think that Tom Hanks and Mark Rylance should be bumping that up a couple of points at least. No, like 3.7 or that, but like a couple of like points.
Points.
2 points.
Well, you do have a 0.5 in your arsenal to use at some point at the end of the stream, Sean. So think about if that's going to be one of them. Coming in to finish off the top 80, there's a few contentious ones in here. We've got Glory, which was a 1.75. That was brought in by another former moron, and Jerry. He brought that one into us. Yeah, I really liked that. I thought that was really good. 83, The Fault in Our Stars. Sarah, I'm so sorry for them.
Man, talk about fucking. We watched some depressing stuff, but that was up there. Like, really was up there.
Speaking of depression shite, we've got 82 of Boyhood with a 1.85, which is criminally. God, I've had one beer. Joined at 81 on the list with Star Wars Empire Strikes Back.
I've actually got 82 Star Wars here. Boyhood's 81.
Nope.
And that's the way you've actually bumped it up because it's the same score. You've bumped it up.
My list is
which is
final.
Pretty sad.
My list is final.
The official list that was sent out in the group chat, which we all have access to, if you go on that, you'll see 82 is Star Wars and 81 is Boyhood.
How is it listed on IMDb? Is it 82 or 81? Because if anything, that's published.
81. It's on 82 on IMDb because I looked at that.
There we go.
Right. So Kyle is he's probably looked at that on the same thing that we're looking at and seen it's the same score and thought, you know what, I'll just bump that up to 81. No, you won't. It'll be at 82.
Sarah's just popped out the chat saying, what are you saying? Sorry for Sarah, I'm saying sorry for those guys scoring down The Fault in Our Stars so low because it's sitting 83 out of our 101 movies. IMDb list, guys, will be updated by the end of this stream for Star Wars to be sitting at 81.
I'm saying as well, though, that Fault in Our Stars is far better than what Star Wars is, and we're all in agreement about that apart from you.
Agreed.
You can't put me in that position, for fuck's sake.
Just done it.
Kyle, you've got a 0.5 bump to use, so you've kind of painted yourself in a corner here on what you're going to use your 0.5 bump on. Are you selfish with Star Wars, or do you look after your lovely lady and put The Fault in Our Stars up?
Oh no, she can bolt. It's definitely not getting for The Fault in Our Stars.
This down one's getting used for.
I might use my down one for Boyhood, just so Star Wars is on its own.
Oh, we even do it. Don't you?
That Boyhood was shite. That was terrible.
It's one of those movies that you're like at the time when it was like getting made and stuff. You were always told about it's going to be this masterpiece filmed over this long period of time, but having a young male actor as a lead is obviously going to ruin the film for Burnsy.
He does get older through it though, so
he detests them less and less as it goes on.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 80 with a 1.95, Super Bad. Sarah just popped in there, if you want a roof over your head, you'll use it for mine. Right. Listen, I'll fucking time it out. Super Bad 1.95. I know Instagram had a lot to say about us scoring Super Bad so low. For me, Super Bad's one of those movies that gets less and less funny every time you watch it. If we were doing this 10 years ago, maybe a bit funnier.
I noticed that a lot of the comments were like Americans, and I think that like I can understand why they would like this. It's kind of you've seen this kind of film 100 times. It's been done to death. But if you were to put like something, I don't know, as an example, Still Game. If you showed like an American Still Game, they'd go shite, and they would probably absolutely cane it. Whereas like this, I think I could understand why people over there really like this, but it's totally no my kind of humour type, and I've seen it a million times before, and it's just stereotypical American teenagers. It's just shite.
That's spot on. I think this very much is only funny if you think it's cool to drink at 18. Do you know what I mean? See, at 18, we were all fed up drinking. They're like going to a house party wasn't a big deal at 18. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the type of stuff that you do at 13, 14 in Scotland compared to over there. I think it's just because everyone's a lot more coddled as a child, and the fact that watching a movie about some teenagers going to a party is exciting. Like, just will never happen for me.
Especially when the people when it's been filmed, they're like in their mid-20s. So it's like
yeah.
So coming into our top 8, number 79, we have 300 on a 2.05, tied with Us and JFK. It's quite an interesting three there. I quite enjoyed JFK. I quite like that type of movie. Quite a long movie as well. I found it quite interesting. I know Daniel hates the subject matter. Us was a movie again. This is one of those movies that you're always told is really, really good. It's dead arty and like there's a lot to take from it, but for me, it was just weird. I can remember not enjoying this.
Even like compared to Get Out, which is obviously it's kind of set in that universe. Get Out is fucking streets ahead of Us. Us is just kind of like trying to ride on the coattails of Get Out, and it just falls by the wayside so much in comparison.
I think that's probably why, just because of the comparison. If you didn't have Get Out, I think this would have been a bit higher up. I didn't really mind us. I think that was one of my picks as well.
I didn't mind it either. I thought it was alright.
But I agree that Get Out is better than Us.
Well, we're going into number 76 with a 2.25 of American Gangster. Number 75 with a 2.29 was one of the most controversial ones that we had within the chat of Hotel Rwanda that somehow we ended up watching after it, not even winning a vote. There was some bending of the rules going on there. Somebody has moaned about it. I can't remember exactly who moaned about it. No, do you remember?
I think it was John, was it not? So we'll move on.
You're the only one that's weird about it.
Yeah. Aye, mainly because it's above Star Wars.
I expect the Star Wars, like.
Absolutely fucking not. The Conjuring is next. Sorry, The Conjuring is next. 74 with a 2.3. Joined with Knives Out, which again is maybe up there as one of the most disappointing movies that we watched.
No,
I'll jump in at Knives Out because Burnsy, I'll let you jump in after me, Burnsy, because Burnsy loved this, he really loved this, and I was glad to see a wee comment on Instagram backing me up about his accent.
It's so bad.
And Daniel Craig's accent was one of the worst things about this for me. But this Knives Out to me was like a feature-length Columbo or shit. That's how I really disliked it massively. But you liked it, Burnsy.
You were a big fan.
I think as well that if I remember rightly, I'm sure that a few of you, it might have just been Daniel, but a few sort of said you saw what was happening coming, whereas I was kind of oblivious to it all. I don't know if there was points that made you think who was actually going to be the killer, or whether you just thought, oh, it's so obvious who it is. Whereas I had no idea of what where the storyline was going to go, and I think it was. I don't think we'd sort of seen many films that were about sort of murder mystery kind of idea at that stage as well. So I think it was maybe helpful that obviously I've not seen as many films as you guys too. But no, I thought it would, and it didn't bother me at all about the accent. But again, that's because obviously I've not seen as many films. So like to me, the accent wasn't as noticeable. Whereas for you, it would be like that's staying my nut in, which I can understand because there's even actors or actresses that I've been watching and even just. I don't like them on the screen, and that's obviously how a couple of years would have felt as it was going on. So
what this movie suffers from is when you get these type of mystery movies, they focus an abnormal amount of time on the clue. So like when she was doing the medicine, they focused on that. That had nothing to really do with much more of the storyline, but there was an intentional focus on it for people to pick up, or so they could relate back to it in a little bit more detail. And it sticks out, unfortunately. But this
now I mean, what is that? Whereas at that stage, it wasn't noticeable for me. What
was disappointing for me for this is there were some really good actors in this and actresses in it, and it wasn't very good. Like Captain America's in it, for fuck's sake, and it's still shit. Burnsy, just to keep you going with movies that you were absolutely in love with, 72, Gone Girl, 2.35.
I'm going to do that one as well. It's like I'd obviously. I think this is from my packs. I've watched it once, and I really liked it. Going back a second time, it wasn't as enjoyable, but I think that's probably the same for most films for me. But no, I thought the storyline was good. Whereas I know that I think it was Daniel that was the one who hated this the most.
It's my fault.
I think he just thought it was either boring or it was obvious what had happened. Whereas to me that. It was just something really unusual that I found, and again, as we're going through the films, there's not really one which is similar to that large an extent. I wouldn't say, but I thought the acting was really good as well. I really enjoyed it. I think I maybe gave it like a 3.5. It wasn't like rated a 5 by me or something like that, so it wasn't like a top film, but it was definitely far. It should be far higher up the leaderboard as it stands.
If I remember, is that the one with Rosamund Pike in it?
She speaks in lowercase the whole film.
She's an annoying cunt, and she got an actress nomination for the Oscars for that year for that film, which fucking dumbfounds me.
Like Sean mentioned about his personal bottom 3, this would be in my personal bottom. At least 5. I hate it. I think it's garbage cinema. Like this is a straight to TV Channel 5 movie, but somehow got a big budget.
Well, Daniel, you scored it a 0.5, and both Sean and Burnsy gave it a 3.75. Sean looked shocked.
I can't remember getting that. I'll tell you why I'm shocked. I was looking through the pictures here. I'll tell you why in a minute. But I didn't mind it. But I don't remember scoring it that high. But just There's no consistency in my scores whatsoever.
Well, let's on to movies that were criminally underrated by us. Number 71, Hocus Pocus, a 2.40.
In the grand scheme of things, that's fair.
Yes.
Well,
I would agree so.
I hated Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus is an absolute classic, guys. We'll be watching the second one hopefully when that comes out as well. Number 70.
Sarah Jessica Parker on TV anymore. Like, nobody wants to see her. Like, get her to fuck. Get that sequel to fuck.
Well,
can I just jump in and say, like, I just obviously was looking a bit confused there, and I'm looking at the wee list of films, and I have got no recollection of The Fugitive at all.
Aye.
Like, I cannot.
Have you watched it before, I take it, and you just couldn't remember watching it this time?
I genuinely can't remember that at all. The Fugitive.
well, we'll come to that in a second. So that's obviously The Fugitive is joined alongside Hocus Pocus and Up. Now let's talk about Up. Up caused a bit of a controversy, didn't it? Sarah still goes on about Up.
Was that
I liked Up.
Again, I totally stand by that. I'm sure that the line that I used at the time was it's like the very best Pixar Disney short story followed by a fucking shite film. Like, with that wee bird in the mountain and the old man and all that shit. Man, this is Pixar's Howard the Duck. Like, for Marvel. So Marvel made Howard the Duck and it's the worst, and this is the worst Pixar.
I think as well, it's when you go up the list, it's like people just look and say what scores we give, and you're like, that's horrendous. But then if you actually look at the scores overall and probably take time to look up the leaderboard, you'll actually see if you looked up, I don't think you would actually see where it should actually, what many films it should be higher than. Like, there's a few when I'm looking up the list and I'm like, I didn't like that, but obviously a lot of these did. But the vast majority are ones that are better films than the ones that have rated lower. I think it's just people just see the scoring and think they want us to give like 3s, 4s and 5s for every single film.
Aye, pretty much.
People want 5s for everything that they like and 0s for everything they don't like. That's what we get on Instagram all the time.
Absolutely. And a couple other movies moving on through number 68, 67, we've got Prisoners and Marriage Story. Marriage Story being a very recent movie that we watched.
Aye, and amongst that absolute shite that none of us like. Or overly like.
Well, I think Instagram went a little bit overkill when it comes to things like Marriage Story. There's a lot of very direct comments in terms of how we scored it and how we don't appreciate movies. I think there was one of the most liked comments was about a guy saying how he didn't follow this page. It was one of the he was all over it. Don't follow this page, it's shit, and everybody liked it. Cheers, guys, appreciate it.
Oh, that had like 15 or 25 likes or something.
We're going to cover this a lot through this, right? But just because people say something's amazing doesn't mean it's amazing. And it's alright if we don't like it, it's fine. You can still like it. You can still like it, guys, it's fine. We just don't like it. We ain't right.
Well, joined along that was Prisoners, and again, I remember when I very first watched Prisoners, I really, really enjoyed it. And I think I did score it quite positively, but yeah, I think it sits well at number 68 in terms of the company. 66 on the list, Sean, a favourite of yours, Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, no, that one, Wreck-It Ralph 2, which we still watch.
Did you finish watching Wreck-It Ralph 2?
No, I watched like 45, 50 minutes of it before I realised that it was the wrong film. But I was actually, Wreck-It Ralph 2 was better up to that point than Wreck-It Ralph 1. So when I put Wreck-It Ralph 1 on, I was really disappointed.
I actually think that's hilarious, the fact that you're like, I think you cut the time quite fine as well for that one.
I can remember it vividly. I'd finished work. I think at the time I must have been on to like 5:30, 6 or something, so like there wasn't very long to watch it, and I made my dinner sitting watching it, and then I had it paused for some reason, and I just seen the name, and it was Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet, and I'm like, that doesn't sound too right. And then obviously I went back and searched, like I had to go on Google and search, and then I realised I was fucking raging.
Well, then if you keep on the screaming, you went first and just tell us all your thoughts about the film, and we would have
that probably would have been better. You said, what the fuck are you talking about?
That would have been I would obviously, I don't know if you would have watched Wreck-It Ralph before. I'm assuming not, but like I would have just been like, I've watched the wrong film here. I would have seen that was wrong.
Oh no, Wreck-It Ralph is a regular movie on in my house, so I would have definitely been able to clock that. But I do think that's quite funny. Number 65, one of the more artistic movies on the list, on Drive.
We spoke about that recently. Skip that.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory comes up next with a 2.55, followed on by Ace Ventura: Pet Detective at 2.6, joined alongside Nightcrawler, which I completely forgot that we watched. Nightcrawler's a strange movie.
Was that the one where
it was high? I liked it. It's me that thought that one up.
See, on reflection, actually, see, kind of thinking about it, I think I scored it pretty low to mediocre. But I think if I watched it now, I don't know. I don't feel that bad about it in terms of like I would never watch that again. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm somewhat you. I think Sean now on reflection.
But as we'd had we didn't have like a queen of Jake Gyllenhaal movies in a short space of time, and obviously that's when we'd done the research. He found that he like based his character on a coyote or something like that, and it was like, get that cunt in the bin.
Sean took at least a point off, but just at that point, so he would have scored this higher. Like that.
I just looked at the scores there because that me. What would we talk about? Drive there, Daniel.
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler.
Oh, Nightcrawler. Sorry, I'm talking about a completely different film then. Sorry.
More on films that also caused a lot of controversy and amongst the female companions. 61, Almost Famous. Now that's bumped up there by a 5. Someone's given that a 5.
Forgettable.
Burnsy enjoyed that. He liked the lead character.
It's better than it is better than Hotel Rwanda though. Sorry, Laurie, but it is.
You listen to that, Sean. Rwanda.
Aye.
I think we're getting to the stage where these are the kind of films, like although Almost Famous, I think I berated it quite solidly and then gave it a reasonable score.
You did,
I think you spent about 45 minutes abusing the young actor that played the main character and then scored the movie quite decent.
I think
this film would be a lot better without him, even though it's like the director's fucking life story.
Well, Speedball and a couple of numbers taking us into top 60. We've got What We Do in the Shadows, Into the Wild at 59, Bridesmaids with a 2.85 at 58. Most recent one on the list that we've watched, one of the most recent anyway, of Don't Look Up at 2.9. Don't Look Up has been a hot topic. A lot of people have a lot to say about that one as well. But it was garbage. 2.90, which is also joined by Who Framed Roger Rabbit at number 56.
I'm starting to, on reflection, think we scored Don't Look Up too high, even at a 2.9. That's the one that stands out there for me as should be lower.
I think Bridesmaids should be a lot higher. What a film that is. That's class.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fairly scored. It's pretty high for the type. There's no many comedies up the top, is there?
Not many. Well, number 55 is pretty much one of my, if not all-time favourite movies, In the Wanderers at 2.95. So I think that's probably one of the movies that shocked you the most, guys, in terms of where it is on the list compared to what not many people know about it. It's overshadowed by The Warriors massively, but what a film it is.
Good movie. That surprised me. I liked it.
Yeah.
54 is Heat on a 3, so we're into the 3 and above now, which is, again, really good scoring for us. District 9, Daniel, coming in at a 3.04.
That's actually higher than I expected you guys to score it. You liked it, surprisingly, Burnsy. In fact, was it you, Sean, that liked it? I expected you to like it.
I did like it.
52, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl at 3.05. 51, one of the original movies that we did on stream, and Room. I think Room's great. I'm shocked it's so low.
Let's quickly stop on the facts. Sean, did you give Pirates of the Caribbean a 5, if I remember correctly?
No, I don't think so, did I?
I'm sure you at least stated it was the best Disney film ever.
It's the best Disney film ever, aye. It's the best Disney film ever.
Like that, the best Disney film ever.
Yeah.
Wow.
I believe it's also the highest rated Disney film with it. We've got...
well, we've got one to come that's in the top 2.
Disney?
No, that's not really Disney.
I'm fucking claiming it as Disney.
But Pat, what?
No, Spider-Man. He's talking about Spider-Man.
Alright, fuck, that's not Disney. I'm looking at this list and he's going number 2. I'm looking at Parasite going, that's not Disney.
Going in the Parasite ride at Disneyland, you just get walked out inside the Watford tour.
Well, I mean, it's definitely not the best Disney movie. Wreck-It Ralph 2 is better than that, Sean. Come on. Taking us into our top 50, we've got Con Air at 3.10 alongside The Strangers. 48 being The Avengers, criminally low. Hot Fuzz at 47. Kill Bill Volume 2 at 46. And we'll stop a little second to talk about Scarface sitting at 45th with a 3.20. Any
They're
comments?
all fair.
Sorry?
They're all fair. I'm starting to stand by these more and more as we go through them. Like, I agree with all of those.
It's funny because I think on an individual basis, a lot of these movies could be argued to be higher for an individual, but when you take five of us, this is when it starts to make sense the way that we do it, because Scarface, Hot Fuzz, Avengers, these are all movies that someone will tell you is their favourite movie of all time. And then
100%.
the other opposite end, someone will tell you they're absolutely garbage. So I think Kill Bill had a lot of pushback from some of us, especially about feet.
Really, I just didn't like it. And I think again, we went through that time with the Tarantino films where it particularly was great, and me, I'm just not a big fan, and I didn't enjoy either Kill Bill.
Fair play, fair play. 44, a recent one that we watched in Logan at a 3.25, sorry. One of the lowest rated movies, and certainly in contention for a rating boost. Spirited Away at 43. 3.
It's on my list for a little boost, by the way. It could get a double boost if me and you think about this well, Kyle.
I didn't think there was any consideration of what's getting scored up for you. I think we all know.
Oh, you're going to be surprised by both of them.
I think me and you are on the same lines, Kyle, unfortunately. And it's one that's on my list to go down.
Now, right? Get this out now. I'm being very honest in what I want to score up and down. I don't want any agendas involved. Be honest with yourself, Burnsy.
And I've just realised, like, I think you mean you're talking about two different completely films. I'm thinking the son it's really low, but I think your son's anyway. Carry on.
Yes, I know what's going on. Yeah.
So 43 was Spirited Away. 42 was Battle Royale. Excellent film.
I enjoyed that.
Again, it's one of those movies that you've heard loads about, and it's had an impact on a lot of things, but not many people have actually watched it. 10 Things I Hate About You, sitting away up at 41 for 3.35. And then a film that I just did not like, The Descent.
Oh, I loved The Descent.
I enjoyed that.
I thought it was pretty decent too, I'm sure if I remember.
Did somebody
right.
watch the wrong one with the wrong ending or something?
No, Daniel had mentioned there was two endings, but I think we all watched the right one.
I made sure before that we watched the right one.
I see. So breaking into the top 40, we've got Big Hero 6, which is another Disney movie better than Pirates of the Caribbean. Number 38, we've got one that Burnsy remembers fondly, in Milk.
Ages ago we watched Milk.
I had to search for that to remind myself what it was about today.
Well, we asked a few weeks ago, we were talking about potentially doing this and talking about movies that we watched in the past, and I asked Burnsy about Milk, and he just stood there, froze, didn't know what to say.
No, I thought going back to it, was actually pretty decent. I think I scored it fairly high, and it was. I think we'd said quite a few times before, moved away from it, but we did seem to like when there was courtroom stuff going on in all the films. It went for a stage where we'd just always be talking about that.
Aye, court drama.
We've moved away from it a bit now, but no, it was good. It was a kind of interesting film to watch.
Absolutely.
We should all just start watching Judge Rinder and review each episode every week.
Fucking hell, imagine doing that, eh? Number 37 was the original movie that started it all off in Birdman, which is sitting at a 3.45, just constant drumming. It's so funny because we obviously this is the very first movie, right, that we were going to do this on, and we like talked about like making a real effort with it. And I remember this. I put this on. I fell asleep with about 20 minutes. It took about 4 attempts to watch this movie. I was like, "Fuck, how am I going to cope with this? Like every week watching one movie, get falling asleep watching them."
I think we've moved on since then, and there was people getting kicked out MovieCon because they hadn't watched a film by a date way back then, and whatever else. How we've moved on.
That's right, Sean. You were booted.
That was I got kicked out on my birthday by Daniel for not watching a film at the time.
I also got baited out on the same day, even though I think I'd confirmed that I was going to beat the deadline. He was also just having a bad day.
That was an uncharacteristically angry day for me
on my birthday.
I was just astonished that no one had taken the effort to watch one film. I really did my nutting that day, and I quite like that and I apologised.
Know that they hold it against you, that Daniel, like still bringing it up. Number 36 at a 3.50, we've got Joker. 35 we have Halloween. 34 we have a movie that I've watched multiple times in Moneyball. 33 Uncut Gems at 3.65, which is a movie that I think that's quite low. To be honest, I think that's quite low.
It's definitely in my shortlist for getting reboosted. I've kind of done a bit. Don't know why. I just kind of keeps popping into my mind every so often, and I'll just kind of do a wee bit of reading up and research on it. And I'm kind of like, that doesn't get the credit. I don't think we. Again, because it was quite early on in movie club when we watched it. I think if we were to go back and reevaluate that, like maybe rather than doing it from memory, like going back and rewatching it, I think that would score a lot higher.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no, definitely was a good movie. 32 we have Mrs. Doubtfire. 31 we have Rush Hour. 30 we have A Nightmare on Elm Street. A couple of proper like throwback movies there. Like that's like more of our childhood type of movies, isn't it? Like childhood, late teen sort of thing. I get they're 3 movies that you can watch at any point and enjoy, but they're not going to be breaking the top 10 at any point soon.
Aye, definitely.
And
good place for this one.
Nightmare on Elm Street is when I watched during the
amounts. Like I was just going to say, see if you get to the higher numbers. I think we've got as much as we've been getting a lot of stick. It's a pretty good fucking list. I think. Like I think they're all pretty placed where they should be in the scale of things.
Exactly that. Well, breaking into the top 30, we've got number 29, which is The Departed, with a 3.70, joined alongside one of my favourite movies, which I think is an absolute gem of a movie to watch, The Hunt.
That was class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That would maybe go higher as well if we watched it a bit later,
I think as well, because it was one that none of us, well, I don't think very few of us have even heard of, I might be wrong, but it was definitely one I'd never heard of whatsoever. Usually I might have heard of the name of a film, but no idea what it is, or seen it advertised, or heard people talking about it, but it was something it was that unexpected that it was going to be really good, which was definitely a bonus.
It's one of those films that, because it is a foreign language movie, that it kind of gets missed a lot with here and with us. So I think it's excellent, and I always recommend it to people as a movie to go watch. Number 27, one watched recently, Jojo Rabbit, followed by 26 in Schindler's List, which was a fun day talking about Schindler's List.
Yes, it was.
We got a lot of stick for Schindler's List, man.
It's a hard one with Schindler's List because the subject matter obviously makes it difficult to watch, but if we are reviewing movies based on our experience with them, do I get more enjoyment out of watching Spider-Man than I do Schindler's List? Absolutely.
Yes.
Aye. And it's not always just enjoyment. One thing we were getting quite a lot of feedback-wise from this one was that we were not watching movies the right way. They said,
Aye.
I was trying to explain to some folk about the angle, I'm like, look, folk just like different things. I gave them a little bit of background, like, some folk found it quite hard to watch. Like, obviously, we all discussed that it was important. We all discussed all the important things about it. But people just look at a number and get mad as fuck.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And again, they're talking about like one person, because that number is not where that person would score it. That's it. Boom, without any context, they'll just jump on that.
Yeah. Well, Sean, do you have any more comments that have come in from people? Either been happy or sad?
I give you 2 minutes. Sorry, I just need to jump between screens here.
Because this then takes us into our top 25 movies coming up. Some absolute belters in there.
Right, so we have got a comment from Wade is very loyal. Again, I'm not actually too sure. This was a comment on, I believe, the post of films from ranks 80 odd, because Star Wars is there. But Wade is very loyal says, "Yo, this sucks ass." And then somebody, I don't know if it was Daniel or Kel, was interacting and said, "Is that a good or a bad thing?" He's just said bad. Delete the post, which is a bit harsh. We've also got an S.Nell88. I believe she's
I have no idea who that is.
She's an extension to the club, I believe. And she says, quite simply, "Don't get me started." She got 9 likes for that. That's her 9 burner accounts that she uses to float on all of her films.
What post was that? That must have had it up in it.
I believe that's the Star Wars one as well, because you have commented a K. Mathewson one, a wee ginger man with a filter is the picture. He's commented Star Wars ! !3. That should be top 10. You morons. And that got 4 likes.
So don't get me started gets 9, and I'm a part of this and I get 4.
But again, you only have the 4 burner accounts, whereas S.L has all the other ones. And just one last one before we move on. Caleb _ Butler says they are definitely only doing this to get attention. And he's put in brackets, "I guess it's working." So, we are doing this completely for attention. We come on here every Monday at 9 o'clock after watching 2 films during our busy working week and other social life, because we just want all of the attention on Instagram.
Yes, that's it.
That's exactly why we do it.
See if we just want the Instagram to keep growing, we don't need to watch any films. We just need to give slightly shit scores, like believable enough shit scores.
We've been doing it all wrong.
Instagram.
We don't actually need to do anything. We just need to turn up here on a Monday, talk utter shit, and give them
basically,
scores.
we could essentially roll a dice and just fucking get a score to a film, and that's it. That would be our content for the week.
That would be, so that's the last of the comments for now. I've got a couple more which I'll give just in the last 5 minutes or so, just to round it off.
No worries. Well, coming into the top 25, we have got a 3.75. We've got 4 movies tied at 3.75 with Short Term 12, Pan's Labyrinth, which I thought was an absolute gem, Pulp Fiction, which people rate a lot higher than it should be, and Jamie Cox's Big Smashing Bobby coming in at number 22.
That is the official title of that film.
I can't see anything else to say otherwise.
The Jamie Cox moment's still my favourite moment so far. That, or in all the 101 movies, see where Sean absolutely sucked me in that he was going to give Star Wars.
I'd been rehearsing that before we came on.
I think it's we didn't have your camera on, so we couldn't even tell by your face. We all thought obviously you were being deadly serious, which obviously helped too.
Oh, that was actually that was one of your finer moments, Mr. Sean. Some really good movies there. So Pulp Fiction's one that a lot of people would tell you is their top 1, top 2 movie of all time, and we've got it sitting outside of the top 20, guys.
Again, there's nothing. We're going to get to the top 20 in a minute. For me, having a look at it earlier, I don't think there's anything in that top 20 I would take out. In fact, maybe there's one that I would take out for this. I don't think so.
I think that's I'm going to go away a bit too much if I say so. I'll shut up.
We'll be coming up very, very, very shortly, guys. 21 at a 3.80 with the highly overrated There Will Be Blood. Breaking into the top 20. An absolute gem. This was actually found by Sean. It's always quite surprising when Sean picks a decent movie. We've got The Trial of the Chicago 7. Which
that didn't go down to well on Instagram though. That a lot of people looked at that as like the outlier in the group of the top 20, essentially, as the one that maybe looked like it shouldn't be there.
Instagram seems to know it all. They do.
Did you not know that everybody on the internet is right?
See a lot of these films that are at the top, sort of 20 to 40, right? I'm trying to explain to people that because it's an average of 5 different tastes, sometimes you'll find that sort of inoffensively good movie, because there's nothing bad about Stylish Chicago 7. I would say anyone could watch that and enjoy it. I mean, there was nothing about it, and that's why we've all scored it fairly. And that's why everyone fairly enjoyed it. There'll be none of us gave it a 5, and there's movies below this that some of us gave a 5 to, but universally, it was quite good.
Well, we've got in there at number 19, we've got Uma Thurman's Feet coming in with Kill Bill Volume 1. 18.
Is that Ella won the best of the partners then? Because her score's by far the highest.
Oh, was that
I think it was. I was at Kill Bill 2 was Ella's, but even still, it's still higher than.
No, I think Kill Bill 1 was hers, I'm sure.
I watched Kill Bill 1 first.
the week after, because we wanted to see
For
the
you guys
second.
all listening, Ella doesn't exist. Daniel picked these movies, so didn't let that. 18, an absolutely shite film directed by Tarantino in Inglourious Bastards.
That's probably the only Tarantino film that I really like. I'm not a fan of it. I don't know, but I did really like that. And I'd seen it before we watched it on this, but I do like that.
Number 17, we've got starring not Matt Damon. We've got Matt Wahlberg in The Fighter.
That is too high for me, for my liking.
Yeah.
Well, lucky for you, you've got the opportunity to bring it down. I mean, I liked The Fighter. I thought it was really good, but we did base this massively on Christian Bale, and it takes he overshadowed a lot of the film, didn't he? And I mean, again, I've watched this a couple of times, and I could watch it a couple of more times, and still really enjoy it.
It's definitely a good film, but I get this point.
I think it's a perfect example of a performance elevating a film higher than what it should be, and I think that's the best example. Just looking at the top 15, that's probably the best example of that.
Aye, definitely.
Well, moving into the top 15 very shortly. So number 16, we've got the first Terminator. Number 15, we've got No Country for Old Men.
Should be number 1.
Should be number 1.
Why is it not number 1, guys?
Bonzi.
Bunty and Kyle.
Oh, did you not like it as well, Kyle? I thought it was just me.
Yeah, I thought it was-
Hi, he just plays along with us every week. Kyle gave it a 4 or something, 4 point something.
I've said all I need to say about it. It's not. You're never going to change my mind. And I'm never going to watch it again. It's rubbish.
Get that clip, Daniel. We'll share that to Instagram and get Burnsy hung on and quartered. Number 14, we've got the best Christmas movie of all time. We've got Die Hard. Number 13, we've got the second best Christmas movie of all time in Home Alone.
That makes sense. Oh my god!
Listen, we are morons for a reason. They're actually joint in scoring wise, but it's just
Purely an identical score wise.
Alongside them.
Die Hard should be above Home Alone in alphabetical order. So whoever's made that list.
Honestly, who the fuck made this list? 12, I think, was one of the movies that scored a 5, didn't it? In Jaws.
I think I gave it a 5, or somebody gave it a 5.
I think it was you, Daniel, giving it a 5.
It's amazing. Somebody had a go at this on Instagram as well, and I replied saying it's a masterpiece. That was the only film I've defended all week. How can anyone not like Jaws, I'm sure, was a comment, and then Bungie didn't like it.
Between that and No Country for Old Men, we come in a little and Bungie's not like them.
Oh, Burnsy raved earlier about how good Pet Sematary was, and then he's talking here about Jaws and No Country for Old Men being shite.
Well, that's the eclectic nature of what we do. That's what makes it good.
Mean one's got different tastes completely.
What I laugh at is the thought process of Burnsy sitting and out talking movies with somebody and saying to them, like, honestly, guys, did he watch Jaws or No Country for Old Men? What you want is Gone Girl and Pet Sematary. Well, moving on, we've got sitting at number 11, we have Fight Club. I mean, I think Fight Club was a victim of us all seeing it several times, probably. Again, a movie that probably should be a little bit higher, in my opinion.
Possibly could be.
I think it's fine.
Fine where it is.
No, I would have it 10th.
Well, so let's go to. Got the opportunity to move it. I didn't actually have 10th up in front of me, and I've just seen what 10th is now. So, joint 10th and 9th, we've got 4.25 scoring for The Godfather, which Sean has taken an unbelievable amount of stick over. Not only in the Instagram chat, also in our friendly WhatsApp chats with friends. There's literally been no hiding point for Sean when it comes to this movie.
Hate it. It wasn't even that long ago we done it. There's not much else to add on it. It's just no for me at all. But again, as I said at the time, I can understand. I can understand why people love it and hold it in such high regard. But I just hate it.
What food did you compare this to?
What?
We had a discussion about food that night as well, did we not? What was your comparison?
Was that night as well?
I think so.
Steaks. I don't know if I can't remember if it was.
No, I don't think that was the steak night. I'm sure that was before Godfather.
Oh well, my apologies, I've got that wrong. But Sean, what is better, a steak or a burger from McDonald's?
A McPlant from McDonald's every day.
McPlant.
I'm not even had a McPlant yet, but it's better.
So I'm sure we figured out that if it wasn't for Sean's score, Godfather would probably be number one.
It was on course to be number one until Sean scored.
Well,
but
I think that even if you are the biggest Godfather fan, I think there is definitely an argument to be had for what we've got as number one over that.
Aye, 100%.
Yeah,
I said this at the time. I gave it a 4.5, I'm sure, and I did say that a lot of that was appreciation. Like, Godfather wouldn't be in my personal top 50. So I'm with you there, Sean.
Well, joining Godfather on a 4.25, we've got a movie that was quoted out there as being the best ending to a movie potentially ever. Whiplash.
Yeah, that was probably up there as in see one of those films where it's probably surprised me more. Like, when you read the synopsis, you're like, "Oh, this is going to be a fucking pile of shite," and then you get drawn in, and the suspense and the playoff between the two main characters through the whole, and it just builds up to that big crescendo where you're like, I know it wasn't quite on the same level as what Daniel was saying. You're like proper on edge after it because it had the suspense that much. But again, that's probably the one that surprised me and then enjoyed the most afterwards.
I completely agree with that. I think I said at the time that I can remember, and I don't know why this sticks out in my mind, but I remember seeing the trailer for that at the cinema, and I think it was at the time that me and Laurie had the Cineworld card, so we were going quite a lot. So we would just go see like anything really. It wasn't particularly something that we'd want to go see, but I remember seeing the trailer for that and thinking, "No, that looks fucking shite." So we gave that a big wide berth, but I was pleasantly surprised by that when we watched it a couple of months back.
It's a hard movie to pitch to someone, isn't it?
Aye, when you describe it for what it is, it's about a drummer. And he goes to, he's at the. Aye, it's a hard picture.
It's not even a drummer; it's a fucking jazz drummer. So
jazz drummer. I would say about this one that we get a lot of stick for not liking the sort of artsy movies, but this is probably the artsiest film that we've got in the top 20. Like, this really is one of those films that sort of that type of person really likes. But no, this film got my fucking heart pounding. Like, I remember coming off of this feeling like it was an experience as much as watching a film. Like,
I do recall obviously we joined the call a little bit before we go live, and you'd literally finished it and then came straight on the call, and you were like, "Oh my god!" Total buzzing. Well, we've got coming into the top 8 now. We've got Terminator 2, which is above Terminator 1, which is always a wee little contentious decision there. The Wolf of Wall Street coming at number 7. I can't even remember watching that, guys. That must have been some time ago that we watched that.
That's why.
I'm sure you high.
God, that's what a bit too high, definitely. A bit like The Fighter. Top 10s are pushing it a wee bit.
I think it's not enough. Still.
I would say it would be on my list for a downgrade.
It was in contention before I made my final decision.
I've just wrote mine down, but I'm doing now.
My decision's still not been made, so I'm winging it as we go. Number 6, Trainspotting. Shocked me to see that was so high up in there.
I'm quite surprised that's so high as well, but again, I think it's just because of where
again, I scored that a 5. Again, that being because with such an emotional attachment to that film growing up, it's part of my life, and that is obviously the emotional attachment upscores it, but it is still a cult British classic, and we can get cold fucking, I don't know what they call us, millennials, fucking whatever else in the comments when they see the top 10, but you need to be of age to appreciate that film, and we all have of age to appreciate it as a British classic, and probably arguably the best British film ever made.
Aye, if we weren't Scottish, it wouldn't be high, but we are, so it is.
I like that. So breaking into the top 5, the 5th one being a movie that I gave my utter utmost attention to when we watched it in Shawshank Redemption.
You did, aye.
Yeah.
One of the biggest joys of doing this is that we had 40% of the people on this call had never seen Shawshank Redemption. Like, that blew my mind. So I'm delighted that we managed to get Sean and Burns to watch it, because I know it's annoying when folks say everyone should watch that film, but everyone should fucking watch Shawshank, man.
Well, Shawshank's a movie that we decided we'd do like a home viewing of, so everybody came round to my house, we got filled up in some booze, played some FIFA, and then I fell asleep at the start and woke up at the end.
I think I also fell asleep, but I've seen it about 150 times.
I'm with you. Me and Daniel, the two that are pushing for it the most, just snoozing for the whole film.
To be fair, I was stoned as fuck, so like that was my excuse.
Well, number 4 with a 4.60, we've got 7. Now that's a film.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I think when I showed the list to some people, were quite surprised at how high we had that. But I stand by it. I think it's fucking perfect. Such a good movie.
And now down to the final 3 then. So we've got 2 movies joint with a 4.65. We've got Parasite and Spider-Man No Way Home.
So really Parasite should be 2 then? You've mocked that up to suit yourself as well, you know.
I've just said they're joint. I've just said joint.
You've got Spider-Man as 2, but it's going to be 3.
Oh well.
I took a bit of creative license. I used Kyle's IMDb as a reference, but anything that was on equal, I took artistic choice when I was putting it on Instagram. So I put Parasite as number 2.
That's the list I'm looking at.
Disgraceful, guys. Disgraceful.
That's the way it should be.
For the 1,894 people that have viewed the list, Spider-Man's 2.
But one thing I will say is, right, all 5 of these, the top 5, I think we all universally loved, right? But see, Parasite, that was quite early on, and see, to get this group of people to all universally love a Korean movie about like a family being taken advantage of, like, blew my mind. Like, that was the point where I thought, oh, this could be quite good. We could do this forever. Like, I really enjoyed. That was where I thought it would be good going forward. Like,
that was our number 1 for a long time.
Everyone should watch that one.
Aye, of all the movies in this list, if I was to recommend a movie to watch to anyone, it'd be Parasite.
Oh, I definitely. I mean, that's the thing that I know we kind of touched on it with Whiplash, but I think the difference is with Parasite, maybe our expectations were maybe a bit higher going in because you knew it had all the Oscar hype or whatever else. But even still, to have your expectations high and then be matched if not still raised again, that's what I could take away from this. And again, I'm not planning to watch it again, but I will definitely rewatch this at some point. But I imagine I'll enjoy it just as much the second time round.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. It's a very, very good movie. Spider-Man No Way Home was a bit of a contention in our own personal chats and stuff about its high rating. As someone that's seen it twice at the cinema, I've not quite been for that third viewing yet, but I will. What a film. It's absolutely incredible. I just can't wait for more to come for Marvel if this is a level now.
Well, I've got a comment that's just been sent in to me from DDHDDHHDDH97. And he commented saying, The fuck is Spider-Man doing there? And he shortened the fuck to TF. So TF, I'm assuming is the fuck. If it's anything else, then I apologise to DDH97. But I think I've got that right. And that was commented under the post of the top 10. So he's obviously not a Spider-Man fan.
I think, to be fair, it is too high compared to the other films. Like, there's so many, like, out of the ones that are down to 10, 11, maybe even 11, I would watch them before Spider-Man again.
I think, much like sort of Tyler Chicago 7 and some of those things we've spoke about, it was very hard not to enjoy it. So everyone, so everyone did universally enjoy it, and then you've got a couple of geeks.
Oh, I gave it a 4, I think. It wasn't obviously I didn't like it, was just the fact that on my scoring it wouldn't be... It's overrated, but it should be highly rated, but maybe just not as high.
I mean, that's the obviously we've all had a base level of enjoyment, and then you've got like another 4 levels of geek up from Bundy right up to the top of us in amongst this chat that I've took that extra bit of obviously the nostalgia for seeing the other 2 Spider-Men coming to this and have all and as you say, Daniel, the itches it cured for the Marvel geekness for tying up so much stuff and then going into the next phase again.
But looking at our actual list, if you look at overall IMDb rating for it as well, it scores the same as our number 1. It scores higher than Parasite, it scores higher than Seven, higher than Trainspotting, higher than Wolf of Wall Street, higher than Terminator 2. It scores higher than all these movies.
It's now officially got the highest audience score ever on Tomatoes, I believe. Like, for over X amount of votes.
I don't think we're far wrong with having it there. Maybe if...
far from home.
Not far from home. Maybe if 2 of us voted it with a 0.5, we could make it number 1. Nudge, nudge. Hint, hint.
Well, one thing I was going to say is that since you're the one that said you're winging it, you're going first.
Oh, come on.
Because I know you well enough that you're going to wait and see what everyone else does and then tactically...
So I've got a couple written down that I've wrote down as we've been going, so... but let's talk about number 1. Number 1, the top movie on our list with a 4.79 out of 5. Only scored down by 3 people. So 3 people scored it down. Myself and Burnsy at a 4.5. Daniel at a 4.75. And Sean and Hunter with a 5 each. And we have Goodfellas. Talk to us, guys. Goodfellas.
I mean, I know I kind of gave, Sean kind of said, some compare it to The Godfather, and for me, the both of them are in my top, I don't know, whatever, in my list of favourite films all the time. I think it is just, I think I touched on it before, it is a masterpiece, and the thing I like about both films, I know we've had a bit of contention with Scarface, with people saying, oh, why is that so low? I mean, you look at in the gangster genre, they 2 films, The Godfather,
The Godfather!
The Goodfellas.
The Godfather!
Is that when The Godfather went into that faction with Stevie Richards and that?
The right to censor.
The Godfather of the Bride. I also, they make you maybe not want to be a gangster, but they do glamorise it and they tell the story just so great. And again, I literally can't fault either of them. And again, the only reason Goodfellas is above Godfather is just for other people's preference within the group, but that's that. I mean, I can't split them. I think both of them are masterpieces, and I could watch them several times over.
In my thing, like as I said, I've kind of said a few times about mafia, mob films and stuff like that. The reason that I'm not a big fan of them is that they just seem to take themselves too seriously, and I find them quite corny. Whereas this doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's got a few kind of comedic bits and all that. But I love it. I remember the first time I watched this, it was when I was on furlough, just after the first lockdown, and I just started watching like films. I was still getting up at like 8 every day, trying to keep a routine and all that, so I would just stick a film on in the morning, and this and True Romance was another one that I watched for the first time ever. I absolutely loved it. It totally blew me away, and even the second time watching it, it was just absolutely brilliant. So I think it's a worthy number 1.
Aye. I would say that I grew up with this movie, I feel. I've been watching this film off and on for 20 years, and I'll still never get sick of watching it again. It's a bit cliched. Do you know what was annoying? Like, someone in the comments early on guessed and was like, I bet they've got Goodfellas number 1 because that's the title. And I was like, oh, get the fuck. I wanted to delete it. But I gave it a 4.75. It's not my personal favourite movie, but I'm extremely happy with it being number 1. Do you know what I mean? It's not one of those that I think it's fully justified to be what it is what I mean. Do you know what I mean? I've never met anyone to this day that doesn't like Goodfellas. And I worried when we did this that I was going to finally meet someone that didn't like it. But,
No, it definitely scores. It is a good movie. It is like, but again, this for me is a victim of that movie where it didn't get a 5 for me, probably because I've seen it so many times.
remember as well, we had Chris on as a guest, which gave it an extra 5 divided by 6, which was kind of put it in a slightly.
Was that when he was on?
Yeah.
That was when Chris was on.
Jesus fuck.
Well, guys, that is our top 101 movies that we have done over however many months it has taken us to get to this point. Now, opportunity to fuck up the list completely, guys.
Just before we
So are
do
we
that,
doing like
Got
are we
something
going with like the 5 downs then the 5 ups, or are we just giving both at once? I think we would go with the 5 downs, so that nobody's tactically voting against something.
I think we should. I'll happily go first in these guys, but I think we should obviously put our hands up and say no tactical changes. Pick your movie.
mine's not tactical at all.
I
Sean,
don't mind the authority. The only thing I'm not going to do is if I go before somebody and they vote something up, the reason I'm voting these up is to get them at a certain level. But I wouldn't want one of mine to go a full point up, if that makes sense, because then that...
Yes, aye.
okay.
I'm just doing it pure based on my own enjoyment. I couldn't give a fuck about like tactical stuff. The two things I've wrote down, I'm not going to change it. But before we do that, I've got 2 more comments to do just to round this up. They'll just be quick ones. I've no idea what post they're under, but it's just under a selection of from the top 100, so it's under one of them. So this from PZD Jam. This could be under any post. He just said shit's whack, bro. So he obviously doesn't like I don't know, one of the films. We've then got Matthew Ryan Martinez, who put something in I've never actually heard of before. He said these are some booth takes. You've ever heard of a booth before? Booth take? No.
Someone needs to educate us. I think it's because we're old.
I know.
Maybe it's a boomer take.
But that would be a boom then.
Who's trying to say good and he mistyped it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Matthew actually likes us.
Oh, maybe I need to go on Urban Dictionary after I find out what a booth is.
We've then got the final comment that comes from Titty Burrito. Now, this is obviously in the top 20 somewhere. So she's put the good ones. As these motherfuckers, I'm assuming MFS is motherfuckers. That be right?
Seems about right.
Yep. So as these motherfuckers have prisoners at a fucking 2.45, she's very angry. I can't wait to see what you clowns have as the good film. She's then commented under it in response to somebody saying, seeing how these turkeys, she's called us all turkeys, rate these things, that would honestly be a surprise. So obviously somebody says it's for attention, again, which has popped up a few times. And then they've commented back saying, well, their name is fitting anyway. So quite a growing opinion that we're doing this for attention.
I like to see our fan base is going by the day as well.
Yeah. You fucked Daniel off that much, he's left the screen for that one.
I was, just to give you an update, I now know what a booth is. You want to know what booth means?
Yeah.
Is it BOOS?
BOOS.
Is it going to get us cancelled?
No, it's putting drugs up your arsehole to get high quicker.
Is that what you guys
Just
do?
like some opium, the opium suppositories for train spotting.
That's it. The example I gave in Urban Dictionary it says, have you ever boofed whatever drug? And then the second person says back, yes, I'm a dirty motherfucker.
Nice.
So.
Absolutely amazing. Well, that concludes the 101 movies, so it is time to now move on and give our 0.5 scores up. Let's start with the downs first of all, the movies that are going to be scored down. I will kick things off, and I've wrote down exactly what I'm going to score down, and I am going to drop Inglourious Bastards from a 3.9 to a 3.4.
It's quite a bizarre choice. I wasn't expecting that.
I genuinely didn't think it.
I thought it was shit.
I'll go next then. I am going to drop from a 4.25.
Shot caller.
And it's going down to a 3.75. Now, I will just say this is my own personal feelings. It's for my own enjoyment. There is no vendetta here, because this will be talked about again. There is no agenda, nothing at all. But I'm going to downgrade The Godfather.
I want to see the look on Dubsy's face as he reads that text message that you've scored that.
This is incredible, guys.
At 1.5 out of 5.
And it's now out of the top 10, and it will be replaced by something else. Which I'm
You don't know.
Do you know what I thought you'd done there, Sean? I thought you were going to pick something that wasn't The Godfather after all that.
No.
You were going to go through all that and pick something else. I was ready to pick myself.
Daniel, you go next.
So this is going to come as a shock, but upon reflection, I'm going to take down by 0.5 Spider-Man No Way Home.
I didn't see that coming.
I like that.
That's tactical. What do
you mean? It's not 5. I gave it a 5. Now, my reason for it is that on reflection, I love it. It's amazing, but it's a 4.5 rather than a 5. I let my excitement sort of override. So I think fairness-wise, I'm taking it down slightly. I still wanted to be up in the top, but not in the top 3.
What's that? Does it not go to the top 10 then?
It goes down to a 4.15.
Burnsy, let's just move on for that clown.
So I was tempted with Spider-Man, but I thought I was going to be too harsh by taking it to the top 10. So I'm going to stick with my original. I'm going to score down Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh, what the fuck?
Oh,
Yeah.
That seems like offensive.
That's come from nowhere. Why?
It was more when I was going. I can't even remember, so I could easily have scored this quite high in my first review. But it's more when I'm looking through all the movies that we've watched and I'm going through them. So Pan's Labyrinth is like 24th, and I'm going down to Big Hero 6 at 39, and every single one of them I much prefer than Pan's Labyrinth.
Wow.
So that's basically my reason for that.
Yeah,
not a good validation.
Thanks.
Wow, interesting. Hunter?
Nice Out's going down for me. I do not get the hype into that at all, and I think it's obviously because a couple I've enjoyed it, I maybe not hate it as much, but I've seen a lot of people sticking up for it in the comments. I'm like, what are they? Like, I feel like I watched a completely different film. Like, there was nothing positive for me to take away from that film, and as we've touched on already, Daniel Craig's accent is just the fucking icing on the cake for me.
So that's going from a 2.30 to a 1.8.
I'm delighted with it. I'm absolutely delighted with that, Hunter.
I actually feel like attacked by the whole Pan's Labyrinth getting dropped in. Holy shit.
That was
The thing as well is, like, to me, there wasn't as much need to rescore the ones that were like 50 to 100 because I was like, nobody really cares about them. Well, I don't. So I was more intrigued in the ones that were higher up.
Well,
so that's how you got away with Valda Buster Scruggs, then that's 5 Bloods and all that kind of nonsense, Daniel. That's the reason you got away with those ones.
The difference between 90 and 100 cares.
Well, guys, so that's so obviously I've taken Inglourious Bastards down to a 3.4. Sean's taken The Godfather down to a 3.75. Daniel's taken Spider-Man down to a 4.15. Burnsy's taken Pan's Lab down to a 3.25, and Hunter's taken Knives Out down to a 1.80. So on to the upward scores. What's getting scored up? Now, I just want to show a little bit of work into the camera because I'll get accused of... Oh, I've got a filter on so you can't see it. Great, Kyle. Well done. So, I had 3 movies in contention for an upward vote here. I had Spirited Away, and I had The Wanderers. But Daniel's cruelly taken away my plan of making Spider-Man number 1. So my plus 0.5 is being given to Spider-Man. So, Daniel, fuck you. It's been cancelled out.
That's tactical as fuck, that.
I know.
Anyway, I'll move on to mine.
You said no tactical voting, you voted tactically.
Picture, I had it all written down. Already had it.
Daniels.
So you were planning on taking Spider-Man to a 5.15 out of 5?
Yep, and I actually had that written down before we got there. 5.15, I wanted to be above 5 as a clear winner and the clear frontrunner of our list. Never
Just be number 1 forever then.
Exactly, that was the whole plan. I wanted
to just make this whole thing redundant.
Number 1 forever, unable to ever get beat, and Daniel fucked it.
Well, I was able to get beat until we start phase 2 and we start the whole list all over again and review the next.
It would at least be number 1 for the next couple of months. That was it. But honestly, I had this planned.
I can tell you that I'm probably going to downgrade Spider-Man just to spite me.
Well, you can't. You can only upgrade now, you dick. So
only upgrade.
Means for the next part, once we get to the next.
Aye.
Aye.
No, but I hope how much I'm going to downgrade it.
Well, Spider-Man gets back up to a 4.65. He's only to then just vote everything else around it up.
Mm-hmm.
But you've promised not to.
I'll go with mine. I am going to score, well, it's going from a 3.6 now up to a 4.1, so I believe that moves it above Godfather and into the top 10, and that is Moneyball.
Oh.
Oh.
I like how everyone's just based on Godfather.
It's not.
He actually hated Moneyball, but he just
I loved Moneyball. I remember watching that. I'd never seen it, and I just loved it.
Daniel?
So I had 3 choices. They were Spirited Away, No Country for Old Men, and There Will Be Blood. But putting Moneyball back out of the top 10 will be No Country for Old Men, going up to a 4.5.
Oh, it was short-lived. Oh, my dream is over.
Joe, before we started all this, and I thought like unintentionally me and Burnsy would end up in cahoots, be taking a whole 1 off in No Country for Old Men. I think that would have been funny. But I think that's what you were expecting.
So I was kind of expecting that, and if he did do that, I was not going to waste my increase on it. I was going to put something else.
See, Daniel's playing a game. Burnsy.
I think just quickly is I think that like I've gave like No Country for Old Men like a 1 or whatever I gave it, so it's like I've berated it enough. You know what I mean? It's like need to move on. So I'm going to upgrade Pulp Fiction from a 3.75, which would hopefully also knock Sean's Moneyball a bit further down.
Pulp Fiction, so 3.75 for Pulp Fiction. Hunter?
Right, I'm not caring about what's in the top 10 or whatever. All I'm basing this 0.5 is going on. We went through 101 films. This 0.5 is going to the greatest acting performance within those 101 films. There Will Be Blood goes up 0.5.
Yeah!
That was pure passion, though.
Most of what I wanted.
I mean,
I did have Drive and Almost Famous in contention, but I don't know if Love is listening. But they were my thoughts. I promise.
so you're giving it a 0.5 up for Paul Dano, I take it?
Come on, no.
Can it be for fucking DDL? Come on to fuck, man.
It can't be for the universally agreed upon greatest actor of all time.
Let's just scream as much as we can and call it acting, eh? Fucking hell. Last snooze fest of a movie. Okay, so we'll have some changes that will be coming up on the leaderboard, which will get actioned in tonight, uploaded and shown to everyone as of tomorrow. I'm so gutted that my plan never came to fruition here. Like, I actually thought about this. I tell you guys, I've not really thought on winging it, and I had this in my head from like 3 days ago. I'm
gutted that my bombshell ended up meaning nothing, because knew that everyone would be shocked for me saying that, and it's just ended up where it was anyway.
But you can take some solace in the fact that you've pulled the carpet from underneath me there.
Aye, it's not. Aye, if you'd done that and put it up to the 5+, we would have all just been pissed off. It wouldn't have been funny.
Do you know what? It's funny because I was going to make a campaign earlier to get us a higher score than a 0.5, and if I was thinking about it, and I was like, I'm going to use that on Star Wars, like get that lumped up, but it wouldn't go high enough.
No, there's no way that it's. And the thing is, if it was in contention of getting close, it would have been on my list to go back down. So.
It would have just been criminal getting a full point to add to then put Star Wars alongside Bridesmaids. It would have been fucking pointless.
You've used your full extra point to make it as good as Bridesmaids, and that's what it would be.
Oh, well, I thought I was using my points to make Spider-Man the undisputed, absolutely top movie that we've got. What I should have done was just taken it off Goodfellas and put it onto Spider-Man, eh? But but do you know what it was? I couldn't actually do that to Goodfellas. That wouldn't have been right. Like it would have been. I wanted it off Inglourious Basterds. I didn't like it, so I wanted it off that. But listen, guys, that does bring us to the end of tonight's stream. We are still under discussions around about which movies we will be watching for next week's stream. So please keep an eye on Instagram for that. We do have a guest joining us the following week, so we already had the list of movies out for that. It's a very, very interesting list of movies, so that will be shared in the near future, as well as the details of this person as well that will be joining us on stream. But Morons, we are at the latest ever stream. We've went 38 minutes over what Sean told us that we were allowed to tonight, so thanks for staying with us, Sean. We do appreciate it.
I was ready to log off.
But Morons, I bid you farewell.
Thanks.
To the next 101 catch.
See you.